Good morning and welcome to today's live show. We're going to do a little breakdown real quick just to make sure we are refreshed on what we're overall looking for from this point. There is a shot that we continue to squeeze because we have noticed that the daily scale has turned up, so that daily momentum can still take over. Pullbacks can be brief. So the first thing you're looking for is the 30-minute going to curl up on this MACD. That's the main thing we're going to look for today. Are we able to just continue the push higher, or are we going to actually see these little divergences on the RSI lead us into some kind of pullback? So that's what I'd want to pay attention to. Something to note is the 2-hour is still positive. So a 2-hour pullback is what we're overall looking for, but that could be in the form of some kind of consolidation, right? We could just move sideways or something like that. What I think is interesting for this week is where that weekly expected move is. We got that down towards 544.80 to the downside. If you were part of Patreon, you already received these. The Patreon link is down in the description. It's $7 a month, guys. 563.82 to the upside. So overall, if we did want to pull back on the 2-hour chart, well, that would be a good look for us to actually head higher. We would see this MACD curl down and be able to curl back up over time. And that would be nice to see. It would actually give us some more confirmation that there is more upside in this move. As of right now, I've taken away all of my longs just because this looks like the point where I thought this is as high up as we could go before seeing a pullback, and we ended up getting there. So very, very cool. But that's what I'd pay attention to for today and for the rest of the week. See if we can get that pullback. If we start to get overzealous and we keep squeezing higher, more of a sudden drop when we get up to this high can happen. More of a pullback that could really fake people out. And then we could see maybe some form of big cup and handle. So we'll pay attention to it. For now, I think that structure would be the nicest thing to look for. Being patient looks like the move for right now. As we go over to the Qs, you see a similar story. We do have those weekly expected moves for you. So 462.72 to the downside. We do have 487.34 to the upside. Look where that weekly expected move is. It's right in where that gap took place. It's where another gap took place, and it's where we consolidated for some time in here. We tried to get some kind of bounce from that level. So this area would make total sense. That would be a great little pullback. And then we have to look if people are actually going to the put side while that happens. As of right now, the dollar is continuing to drop off, but we do have some 2-hour divergence forming here, which means 4-hour charts can start to curl back up. And if you look over at the 4-hour, we have triple divergence. So don't think that this has to be a perfect thing right now. Like, this doesn't have to just perfectly go up forever. We can see the dollar start to increase, and that would mean people are flying to the dollar instead of stocks. And something that's interesting that happened, volatility able to turn up so far on a 4-hour, but I'd be looking out for if this 2-hour, if like an hourly, anything like this starts to roll over, you could see more upside. We'll look at hints for that going forward, but that's mainly what we got to pay attention to. Look at the dollar, pay attention to what's going on in if we do get some kind of crossover on the 2-hour, and therefore if we do get that crossover, does it mean, hey, I'm going to take a trade here? No, not necessarily. I'm going to see if this goes in the other direction and try to trade with the trend, right? Because the upside moves could be a little bit better in this area. Volatility has dropped off, so we'll pay attention to that. But across the board, some interesting ones. I think Palantir making another upward move, which is very interesting because it's had multiple divergences here. Not really the best divergences though, but showing just a little bit of weakness in momentum. We do have the weekly expected moves for this. Palantir would just really benefit from a 2-hour bigger pullback. I think like this is a great move. I think Palantir is a great stock, but I would really like to see some kind of pullback, because that would confirm like, hey, this is going to be another healthier move going forward. Right now, boom, heads to the upside. Awesome. We saw that curl up. We see it go positive. That's fantastic. For now, I think a good thing to do would be to consolidate, and then we'll pay attention from there. But that's just one that I was paying attention to. Interesting enough, Bitcoin trying to curl up on a 2-hour again right here, because it keeps curling down. It just keeps curling down, keeps curling down. We're looking for now that 4-hour to really get some positivity here. It looks like we're trying to make some kind of structure. I would think we'd get that reaction up and then pull back down, get this nice and tight in here, but you're not always going to get that. So if this 4-hour curls up, you can see a big move, and then you just want to make sure to manage that trade around this area. So Bitcoin not seeing as much positivity in the end of last week as the market, and I think that's interesting to pay attention to. Bitcoin had to pull back. Maybe the market will have to follow that soon. So I'd be paying attention to a lot today, but we have some key things happening across the board. We got things like Nvidia not seeing any more real upside to fully open up the morning. Like, if you really think about it, Nvidia's just slowly went up over time, so we would expect, hey, as we get to this, we would really like to gap above that level. So the fact that we're kind of resisting at it right now would be very interesting to see this actually pull back. And I think a 2-hour pullback is still what you're looking for really across the board in a lot of stocks. Remember, when we break through a key zone, you dip down into it and then you curl back up over time. So I think we have to pay attention to a lot. But good morning. How's everyone doing this morning? Hope everyone had a solid weekend. Sorry there was no Sunday video, but I kind of got some, I didn't know my wife was buying me like 7 gifts before my birthday. So, so we had a good day. We finally had a time where we could find a babysitter. So we made sure to have a good day. We went to AMC. We went to AMC for my birthday celebration on Sunday with my wife. We went to AMC and saw Deadpool, and it was pretty funny. It was pretty funny. I think for the most part, though, like the storyline of this one wasn't as good, but it was cool to see Deadpool and Wolverine and all that kind of stuff in one movie. I think that was very interesting. But happy Monday. It's my birthday week. Let's have a good week. Let's dedicate ourselves to some learning. Let's be patient to start out the week to see what is going to form. I believe on Friday, is it Friday? We have Jackson Hole with Jerome Powell. And later this week, we have some key data. Let's go through some data real quick, see what we have on the tape for this week. What we see is not a lot going on, okay? Not a lot going on, and then we all of a sudden get FOMC minutes, okay? So that will be important if they're hinting towards some kind of, I would say, if they're hinting towards some kind of cutting, and we have to pay attention to what that cutting is, and that's actually when the Jackson Hole is going to begin. So Jackson Hole again there, and then Fed Jerome Powell speaks at 9 a.m. on Friday. That's what we're mainly paying attention to. So really paying attention to this moment on Friday, really paying attention to the FOMC minutes. Those are the two things that are going to be really, really important this week. And I think we got to make sure that they are on our calendar and we are ready for those. But it'll be interesting to see what the stock market does before, what are the looks before, because sometimes momentum actually can give you a hint of what things are going to do. So if we're able to pull back and everyone's bearish around these moments, and then we just curl up over time and say Wednesday comes up in FOMC minutes, and then boom, we could head to the upside in some stocks. So it's a key time to pay attention. Apple as well, hitting a very key area. Looks like a pullback would be very, very nice. We have the weekly expected moves for Apple on Patreon. The link is down in the description. I'm going to pull those up on my other screen real quick. Looks like right in here. So once again, all these weekly expected moves look like they're coming into some kind of liquidity down here. So this area here could be important. Maybe the gap fill is important for Apple going forward. We'll pay attention, see if that's able to pull back. Remember, this is the exact structure we've been looking for in the market with Apple, with things like Tesla. Let's see if that's seeing an upward move. Not really seeing too much more upside. Running into its breakdown area. So this can be an area where you still want to pull back again. Now, this is curled up in positive territory. You're not even oversold yet. So if you wanted to, you get a big reaction up to here, get a retest, then you got a left, a head, a right shoulder. So very, very cool from Tesla so far. Remember, that was the one that was kind of lagging behind. So that was kind of one we were talking about. As far as it goes through some of the other ones, I think AMD was seeing, originally when I opened up the market, AMD was seeing a pretty good reaction, now starting to back off. We're pretty much, you can see this on almost every chart. You're looking for that 2-hour little pullback, some kind of little pullback. If you come up into this area, okay, awesome. Can we do this? Can we get this going? And I think that's what you're really paying attention to across the board. If you keep seeing positivity going into some big events, that can be a little bit worrisome. So we're paying attention. We're going to see how that PCC opens up, but I hope we're going to have just a great, great week. That's all I can ask for. As far as AMC and GME goes, remember what we were talking about, okay? Remember what we were talking about, how everyone was saying, look how tight all the moving averages are. We're going to close above the 200. We do, but it's not a really positive bar. We need a positive solid close above the 200. But we quickly said, everyone was talking about how we're closing above the 200. I go, that's great, but this is a double-edged sword, because all you have to do is get a day like this where you end up down, and then the direction for now is down. Okay, this was not able to curl up on the MACD. So this is what we talked about. This is what you're paying attention to. Now you could see an opposite reaction. You're still within range of these moving averages. You're still within range of crossing up. You're still in range of going across the center line for the RSI, but you're not doing any of those things. So you need to see some kind of reaction in order to get these signals to confirm down here for AMC. And GME, a little bit different story, right? Able to cross up, but it is negative on the daily scale. Now, this is above the 200. If you were a swing trader, you would say, hey, yeah, this is a go as of this bar. And then you want to see if something crazy is able to happen. Now, we do have the updated level for GME for the week. That is going to be 2416. So right in the same area. One thing I noticed about AMC this week was it has a much lower implied volatility, which means that this line is going to be most likely easier to cross, right? It's going to be closer, 536. So you notice that a strong close above the 200, what would happen the next day? You'd go do something maybe unexpected. So that's why you're looking for the strong close above the 200, above all the moving averages, crosses up the MACD, gets that RSI above the center line. And all that needs is one big green bar like this, no fighting on it. See if it's able to confirm up in these areas, and then boom, the next day could see something crazy because these are very, very tight at this moment. So we're paying attention to it. There's a lot to go through today, but for the most part, we just want to see how things open up and how things react from this position. The dollar's been giving some interesting things too, though. You see the divergence even on the daily scale on the RSI, but when you really zoom out on that and go into a 4-hour, you really start to see it. You really see that angle of how people could fly to the dollar for some reason, really dying out with the momentum in these areas. So we're paying attention to what's going on. You have divergence here, you have divergence across the way, pretty much across the way here, but I would say divergence here, divergence here. So you have multiple point divergence at this moment, not perfect triple divergence, I would say. A lot to see, a lot happening, and the big thing that we need to pay attention to this week for volatility is the daily able to cross below the 200. The only thing that's worrying me about this 200 and crossing below it is it's a lot different than other times where we've seen squeezes, right? Because in this area, this area right here, yeah, we got a squeeze. This is where we called a squeeze, and that's because we closed back below the 200. We were like, the squeeze will continue, and it continued. Okay, awesome, but where was that 200? Well, that 200 was at this point up towards 1737. Right now, your 200 is at 1432. So even if you do squeeze, that can be short-lived. You could squeeze for a moment here, get towards end of September, and then maybe that sees a reaction. It's pretty much just saying, hey, the 50 is still above the 200. Till that crosses back down, it's still a good thing. Now, there was a time right here where we did squeeze again. This is where we called another one, and 1468 was where we're at. We're lower than that right now. So 1423, 1425 area. That's pretty much where this reading is at for the VIX. So as we get towards that 200, we have to look for reactions and volatility for some kind of, I would say, pullback as of right now. See if that 2 or 4 hour can curl up, curl back down. This curling back down on like a 4 hour or a 2 hour would be a good hint that there's going to be more positivity in the overall market. What we want to do is look at a 2 hour here, see that thing starting to get close to the center line, see if that's able to pop a little bit and then drop, and then maybe before a big event we see a divergence here and we see a divergence on the SPY in the other direction at the same time. That's what I'm going to be looking for any kind of negativity to come in this week. All right, guys, we got about 8 minutes until the open. Good luck on your plays today. Let's try to learn a little bit. Let's try to be a better trader than the previous day. That's all we can try to do every single day, is try to be just 1% better, and that can really help out our accounts. And that could be true, DT. It can take a long time, and that's not the type of signal you want to see for something like AMC. You really don't want to see that. Something we have to pay attention to going forward will be the GameStop earnings. We'll have to see. Do you think Google said goodbye for the day? Well, Google was actually one that was lagging behind as well, seeing that with divergence down here. So you see these points right here. Okay, we line those up. Boom, you pretty much have a double bottom on the 2 hour, so the daily scale can turn up. It already did, and now you're seeing that positivity come in. So it's just Google's lagging behind a tiny bit, it seems. They did get bad news last week. or potential bad news last week, but that was able to curl back up. You even got a small little double bottom divergence actually right in here. So you actually have that on a 2 hour that was able to curl up the daily. So the most likely direction is up. You'd be paying attention to this little strip right here towards 175.50. Look at that. We curl down. Ooh, that would be some great structure to see an overall continued bullish move. That's how I would look at this at this moment. Yeah, Robert, and that's what I'm seeing. I'm like, why is Bitcoin hesitating so much in this area? And that's something that I've been kind of looking at. I looked at it all weekend. Actually, I pulled up Bitcoin at random times over the weekend just because I'm like, why is it hesitating so much in this area? And I think it really doesn't know. And I think something that can clear that up is what is actually going to happen with the rates. Because of the retail sales numbers last week, if you don't remember, the retail sales coming in at 1%, which the previous got reduced, right? It got revised down to negative 0.2. So you're talking about a 1.2% increase in a month, and that is something that can really cause them to have to hold those yields up higher, which would mean we're not going to see a 50 basis point cut. I think you still have an argument for a 25 basis point cut with the unemployment and things like that, with the jobs data. But for the most part, have they changed their tone? They said they're open to the idea of cutting in August, but most likely they will do that in September, and that seems to be what we're looking for. Are they going to do that cut in September? Well, 25 basis point cut would tell you, hey, things are looking like they're pretty in control is what they feel. If they do 50 basis points, that would not be good. But you want to listen to what they say in their FOMC minutes, because with that retail sales, they could hold it level. And that would really not be good. I would stick to my call that Bitcoin will either see 50K or will trade through 70K. Any trades before either event are just wasted. Good morning, Banana Sam, and I think that's not a bad point there, Just Joe. You got to see which direction things actually pick to go, though. So if Bitcoin can do this, and I think the signal for us is showing today, if we don't experience weakness in Bitcoin right now, then the most likely story is, yes, we are going to curl up on this MACD and see if we can break through this 64,000. If we can break through 64,000, hey, you might go up here, create that cup and handle situation where you go, whoop, 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 and then you start to head up over time. So we'll look for that. I think that's how you get to 70K. If we're going to continue to break down from here, and we're not going to see, if we're going to see like 50K again first, well, then I'd be looking for this 4 hour that's curled down right now not to be able to curl back up. YS says, give Luke a like. I'd appreciate it. I appreciate it. For my birthday week, you know, maybe a like a little bit. That's all right. So yeah, but Google lagging behind, Tesla lagging behind. So those are two that are possible, but you're at a point where a lot of things look like they could pull back. So it might mean, hey, if you're patient with things like Tesla and Google for a moment here, the bigger move could be after the announcements we get with FOMC, Jackson Hole, all those kinds of things. Yeah, dollar's really something to pay attention to. Really see if this 4 hour can turn up. Maybe by tomorrow. But it's just, what news would that be on? What news would cause people to really fly to cash? And I just don't see that at this moment, because we don't really get anything for like 3 days. And Remington, thank you so much for joining us today. Really appreciate you subscribing. Thank you. Everyone, welcome Remington in here. I used to work with a guy named Remington. It's not my birthday today. It's my birthday on Thursday. My birthday is the 22nd. Look at ALZN. Oof, that is a rough looking one. Whoa, wait a second. I didn't see the yellow line. You do have a bunch of divergence points down here for your MACD, but that is a massive move. I don't think you really got a hint for this. Yeah, you didn't really get a hint for this in any way. Unless you were really paying attention to like shorter time frames. You see all the 30-minute divergence in here that's really close to the center line. If you were paying attention to this, then congratulations, because that is a divergence down here at the lows. There's always, like, that's the thing, you look back and it makes people look like, oh, they knew the move was going to happen on YouTube and things like that. But if you're not paying attention to this and really believing in these kinds of things and paying attention to when these moments are happening, that's where you can really think like, oh man, I missed out type of thing. But that is a great signal. That's going to turn up your 2 hour. That's going to turn up your daily at this point. So great signal here from, what is this? I'll just say ALZN. Very, very good signal. Now it's a little bit of a worrisome signal because you're dropping down dramatically and you just have a 30-minute triple divergence, but you see how they do matter and they can give you hints. Oh God, I'm messing all this up, my bad. You see how they do matter and they can really give you hints of when that moment could be. And then you just want to make sure if that wasn't happening and that rolls back down, right? We do that. That's when you would want to make sure to be paying attention and managing the trade. But this one played out to the upside. Great, great move. Holy crap, $7 at this point. What's it running into right now? Let's look on the daily scale. Yeah, it looks like it's running back into an area where it's struggled in the past, right? It's going to run into an area right into here that was really your breakdown area. So I think you got a good shot to go a little bit higher, maybe something like 847, unless people just start taking profit like crazy. So we'll see. Also earnings right around the corner. So, all right, opening up for the SPY, looking into a 30-minute chart for now, seeing if that can keep rotating to the upside. And it'll be interesting to see what the PCC opens up at as well. What the dollar continues to do for the rest of the day. Oh, nice. Okay, so they started talking about it. And Banana Sam says, welcome, Remington. Welcome to the channel. So yeah, there's some cool stuff happening, but I think patience is your best virtue at this moment. I think patience is great. You're at a key area. You're at an area of two things, by the way. You're at an area where you can consolidate, or you can confirm this as a lower high. This still has potential to be a lower high. It still does, just so you're aware. It does have that potential. Now, this is great move. It's a great structure if it can do this. So once it does this, you want to say, okay, most likely that's not the area where we're getting a lower high, but most likely that is more going to be the first high of a big positive trend. Any reason to see Google having a bounce? Actually, Google did have a great signal in here. Okay, not necessarily on the 30-minute, but the 2 hour. 2 hour had a great signal here, which is overall triple divergence. Okay, now you would more likely want to be like, okay, this divergence here wasn't the best, but it was a good indication that you were going to see upside once you see this, because that is very, very significant. Crosses up on the MACD, and boom, upside is the most likely option. Now, if you're part of Patreon, first of all, testing the breakdown area again. So if you can break through that, that would be a good sign. You want to see, hey, does this have a chance to hit that weekly expected move? That's what we do. Oh wait, I just talked about Google and someone was not asking about Google. IAX GCT, my bad. Just some stuff in here that it's just consolidating overall, looking like it's getting pretty tight. I would say there's probably a bunch of 30-minute divergences in here, right? You see all these 30-minute divergences across the way. You have a good steep one right here. Now you're maybe going to make another one. So this is one where it's like, it's kind of a pain because look at all the divergences on the 30-minute that could be made at this moment. I'd really be looking for like 2 hour divergence and things that drop this significantly. But as it starts to base out, we start to taper to the upside. Notice, ooh, we're coming down. Oh, we're going sideways. Oh, we're going sideways. Then we start to go like this. Now we're going like that. So if this can turn back up, you got a good shot. But if not, right now, the most likely direction is down. What I'd like to see more so is that 2 hour divergence. I would really like to see a significant 2 hour divergence. I think that would really help you out in thinking, hey, this can start to turn up on a daily scale. Yeah, we can look at FFIE. It's just been struggling, hasn't it? It's been struggling for a little bit of time. So the big thing with these guys is you need daily momentum. You need that to go positive. So you're pretty much getting down towards the levels where you were before a big thing happened. But I just want to show you in the past how this daily can curl up, right? But when it goes positive is when I want to pay attention for the most part. So right on this bar right here, we actually went positive. So you notice we get that big breakout bar, and this is what AMC needs. It needs a big breakout bar because that can lead to more positivity, right? We can see, boom, $10 or so, and then boom, goes all the way up to something like 152. That's what you want to see. You want to see daily momentum get back with you. And at this moment, you're going more and more negative. So there's no real positivity in this stock right now. No real positivity here. So what you want to see is, bam, curls up into positive territory. You're happy. Give me one moment. I'm going to take a moment here to go close my office door. I'll be right back. 2 minutes. Look at that, not even 2 minutes, not even 2 minutes. We just had to close the door real quick. Still exists, yeah. Of course IAX, you know I got you. Apple and Nvidia, yeah, let's go look at Apple real quick. Apple's hitting a key level where this is why I'm just saying, in order for this move, I would say to remain healthy and not convince me like, hey, this is something really, really, not necessarily rigged, I guess. I'm looking for the right word, but something that I'd be a little worried about is if we just continue to go higher, and then we see that PCC drop dramatically. We see a bunch of calls come in, and then boom, it just crashes down. Now, obviously, if that happens, we still have potential for that structure, right, to head up, the cup and handle for Apple. But in this area, you would say this would be a great breakout area, right? We see this going on. Sorry, that's kind of sideways, but for the most part, we could say, hey, if that breaks above this area, we could see a strong move, maybe all the way to 250. So what do we need in order for that to happen? Well, we maybe need to go gain some buyers and then break out. I think that would be a great look for Apple going forward. Right now, still looking for some kind of pullback, some kind of consolidation. I ran out of breath. Nvidia, you're at the same thing. So you didn't want to make that structure here. You had enough buyers at this level to break through, but now you're at the next key level where you see this left over here. You see the head. Now you come down, you test that zone that you just broke out of, and then you head higher. That would be a fantastic look for Nvidia, especially before earnings. Big pullback on Tesla. Tesla's starting to pull down. So with Tesla, we can look at the 2 hour as well. You can probably even look at an hourly in this case. See that just starting to curl over, pretty positive. So if that hourly can curl down, curl right back up, that would be a fantastic look for the stock. It really would. You break out of the key zone, you come back down into it, and then you curl back up over time. That would be fantastic. You have weekly expected moves on Patreon for this as well. ASTS. So I don't like the look of this as far as taking an entry right now. You could probably see that 30-minute just about to curl up. That might be an opportunity, but for the most part, you would say that's going to be a short-lived one, all right? It's on a 30-minute chart. What's it doing on the daily scale? What's it doing on the daily scale? What's it doing on... And you got a bunch of wonkiness here with the RSI, so not necessarily the, I would say, best thing to YOLO into. I've said that for the last few days because I think people have asked me about this for like 3, maybe even 4 days. With earnings, obviously, we're like 50-50 flip any direction. You see divergence up here, it doesn't matter. Boom, we head to the upside. Now you're just really, really up high. You're way up there on your MACD, and your RSI is still remaining kind of coming down. So that would tell me a pullback would be likely. What time frame can I use? Because it's a very bullish move. Well, the 2 hour chart. 2 hour chart gave you some pullbacks in this area. Once that did curl up, you saw a little bit more positivity. So still would like to see, as this is a very excited move, see if this can consolidate for quite some time and then break out, or if it can just turn down for a moment, retest that breakout area, and then start to head up over time with a look like that. I think that's what I'm looking for from this, but I'm not going to be chasing anything in these areas. I know that there's a high probability of a pullback. Even if we squeeze higher, the probability of a pullback here is higher than squeezing at this point. It really is. Dow seeing some upside as well. Most likely Dow getting all the way up towards this trend line here, and then we'll see if it makes kind of a slanted head and shoulders. That would be a good look as well, right? We do something like this. We go left, we go head, we go right shoulder. Everyone thinks we're going to crash right here, and then boom, Jerome Powell says something on, say, throughout the week, or Wednesday we get FOMC minutes. So that's what I'd be paying attention to as far as it goes right now. Tesla really seeing some downside here. Once again, looking for most likely an hourly pullback for that. Amazon testing the breakdown area with this wick, starting to test that area. So this would be a good level for a pullback. Pretty much every stock is showing you like, hey, I'm at a good level for a pullback. DJT bear trap. DJT could be a bear trap just because of some of the signals happening down here, but at this moment, it's just continuing to head negative. You're not even getting close for this daily MACD to turn up. This is the signal to pay attention though. If the daily MACD does turn up, that's where the opportunity seems to be lurking, in my opinion. Daily momentum seems like you have divergence here. Okay, curls up. You have a good shot to see some kind of reversal in trend. That's the signal you will see before a reversal in trend is just a green bar up like this. MACD crosses up. You got the divergence. You got the divergence on the RSI at the same time. So just be patient, waiting for that daily to turn up. Same thing with AMC and GME. And it looks like AMC, look at that, up 1% now. Remember, this is the implied, this is when you pay attention, okay? Remember back during the summer, there was at the beginning of summer, everyone was talking about how the implied volatility was very, very, very high for AMC and GME. And they were stating that that means a big move can happen, and they aren't wrong. They are correct. The only problem is you have to think of the situation. And if the implied volatility is high, that means the market maker expects big moves from AMC, and you're going to see the stock fall a lot. That's why during those weeks where we had extremely high volatility, implied volatility that is, you would see little spikes, but they would always continue to drop because they are aware that the options market is pricing in a lot of volatility, so they can use a lot of that liquidity. Now, at this point though, this has come down dramatically down. It cut in half. AMC's implied volatility has cut in half for this week compared to even last week. And GME has had low implied volatility for a couple weeks now. So what that tells you is this week they do not expect something from AMC and GME, which means when they don't expect something is when you should pay attention. See if this can curl up on this MACD. See if you get that strong closing bar up like this. And then it doesn't mean, hey, it has to do something. It means it has a great shot. It means it has a higher probability to do something. So that's what you're paying attention to from these little meme stocks. And I think AMC is a good one to watch for even when GME might see a moment, because if AMC curls up strong above this bar, gets through that zone, it's awesome. AMC is about to have a golden cross. Yeah, these things are starting to cross. If you look at these moving averages, they're all crossing the 200 right now, which is what you need. You need these things to remain above the 200. So that's what you're looking for. And this is when you pay attention. When actually, when implied volatility is lower, I think that's when you want to pay attention, because it means to me, as someone who has, studied the options market, studied implied volatility, it means to me they are not expecting a big move from AMC. So what causes a gamma squeeze? Does anyone in the chat know what causes a gamma squeeze to happen? Who can answer that for me? Who can answer what causes a gamma squeeze? There's a key phrase I'm looking for. Momentum? Not sure. Okay, good guess. Good guess. Nothing. Japanese mayo. I like that. Break 200 day. All good answers. All good, slightly good answers. Volume can be a part of it. All right, you guys want to know? All right, here's what causes a gamma squeeze in any stock, not just AMC, GME, anything like that. What causes it in any stock? When there is this is the key phrase, when there is unexpected buying. Exactly, Jonathan got it right before I said it. I saw it right before. Unexpected volume when implied volatility is low. Unexpected behavior causes squeezes. Shorts to cover causes a short squeeze, Z-Man, you're close. First thing to see a short squeeze is you have to see a gamma squeeze first. Gamma squeeze is just showing you, okay, there's unexpected buying in the stock. And when that unexpected buying, it leads to more buying, more buying, more buying. And then Z-Man, when it hits whatever level that causes, say, short sellers or people with shorts to feel the most amount of pain, they most likely will give up on those positions when they take too much of a loss. And then you can see more buying into the stock as those shorts start to cover. Yes. But first you will see a gamma squeeze. Most likely a gamma squeeze for AMC based on the price of the stock will lead you towards, at least the first one might lead you towards something around $20. Something around $20 would be kind of what you're looking for from a gamma squeeze perspective. That's just because the stock's so bottled up. There's a ton of short selling going on in it. There's a ton of volume still not able to hit the tape. So an unexpected amount of buying can really cause that. So you want to look for events maybe that can cause unexpected amount of buying that the market maker isn't expecting. So if AMC in the next couple of weeks has higher implied volatility around GME earnings, then you're going to say they're expecting something. But even at that point, if they're expecting something and enough institutions buy in, you can see the gamma squeeze. So congratulations. Good job, Jonathan. Good answer. Unexpected volume, we'll take that as unexpected buying, right? Unexpected buying. Which, that happens during crash moments too. Usually during crashes, like say 2020, the implied volatility was not high, and then the market was at all-time highs, and they saw an unexpected amount of selling. And what did that cause? It caused kind of a crash. What did we see even just a few weeks ago? Well, just a few weeks ago, we actually had low implied volatility right up in here. We had low implied volatility. What happened? Boom, boom, boom. That happened. Now volatility started to pick up here in this area. So that's where you see the rip around type stuff. But for the most part, this was low implied volatility. We broke through, and then we broke through, and then we see a bounce. Once volatility kicks in, you'll start to see these swings. That's why I like volatility. Yeah, it's momentum as well. But it's just the momentum picking up very, very quickly, Diana. So the overall correct answer would be also, if you're relating it to momentum, you could say an unexpected amount of buying momentum. That's how you would word it, Diana. But it's all right. It's just momentum itself. The better answer, I would say, is unexpected buying. Hey, give yourself some credit. You're paying attention to the right stuff. You're going to see the momentum signals. And then who was saying, someone said something about SoFi. Let's go look at that real quick. But that's just good to know and good to keep in your mind with even other stocks. SoFi actually curling up on the daily chart here, getting above, showing you all the swing trade signals. So you actually got two of the swing trade signals back here towards the 690, we'll say 690 level, and now you're up towards 718. So all those swing trade signals now confirming today, but two of them were popping up right here on this bar last Thursday. LPSN. We did look at this, and it's starting to confirm up. So what would you expect from this area? Just looking at this from a lens of where could we see consolidation? How could we form structure to head higher? Have we already formed that structure to head higher? Are we going to get overexcited, go touch the 200, make a point of divergence between these highs? You got to pay attention to all those things. What you would overall say is, what's happening here? Well, we've kind of completed the cup, and even so, you might say, hey, there might be some kind of head and shoulders forming here, but it looks more like a cup and handle at this point. I don't believe the center of this really violated the 50 line. So at this point, you would say, even with this breakout, you would hope that doesn't get too overexcited. I think you would rather see this still build up over time and then curl up. I would like some time to build up and curl up on this chart, right, as we're hitting a key level like this. But it's a fantastic move. As of right now, when you are seeing these upside moves, what do you want to pay attention to during these upside moves if you're not in the move yet? Well, 30-minute pullbacks. And what'd you get? You got a 30-minute pullback, now you're bursting to the upside. So this could continue for sure as that daily MACD does curl up. I would like some consolidation. The only reason, now why would I want consolidation? I would want consolidation so we don't just bump our head on this 200 and fall down. I want this consolidation for a moment just so we can go, okay, now we're strong. Let's gap above that 200. Let's keep going. That's what I want to see from this. But a great move, great stuff down here. If you were just paying attention how the MACD was very close to the center line, green bar, okay, boom, over time that does prove itself. Great move. I haven't heard about the corporate buybacks. Tell me about them, Shane. I'm down. Let's go look at Clove while we're doing this. While we're hearing that from Shane, we see some we see a lot of weird price action today, a lot of rip around, so a lot of volatility in the stock as of right now. As you can see, the 2 hours still climbing, so no 2 hour pullback, still waiting for my opportunity, just like in the past, right? In the past, we saw what? This is a pretty big move across the board, right? But you'll notice throughout this move, you'll see 2 hour pullbacks, 2 hour crosses up, positivity, 2 hour pullback, 2 hour crosses up, positivity. 2 hour bigger pullback, crosses up, doesn't work out, manage the trade, then it curls up. What do we see? Positivity, right? And that happened after earnings, right? So after earnings, you saw the curl up, positivity. That's what I'm looking for from a lot of stocks in the market today, right? I'm looking for the SPY, see if that can curl down, curl back up into positive territory. As of right now, the PCC opening up, what's happening? It is very, very low. So that tells us that people are leveraged to the upside. So if we start to see the dollar pop a little bit, then we can pay attention. If we start to see this go like that over the day or see some kind of bar like this, that would mean that people are selling in this move. As of right now, what's happening? The dollar is negative while the SPY is positive. That is the correct correlation, so nothing is rigged about this. You're even flagging right here to possibly even head higher. So we're paying attention. Looks like the Dow starting to run into just a little bit of trouble. Maybe it wants to go with the closings of the bar. If you notice that if we go to the closing of the bar, get rid of these 2 wicks, where are we right now? So we'll see if that's able to turn at any point for that 2 hour pullback. Still a very, very bullish move. So I'll leave it how it is. I don't like to move around my trend lines like a lot of other YouTubers who will fix their trend line before a YouTube video. I try not to move mine much. I try to go with the structure I think is probable, and then I leave it there. Or else if I'm just shifting around my trend line all the time, I can always convince myself, hey, this is the top. This is the top because of a trend line. That's not something I like to do. I like to see reversal signals. Do we have a reversal signal for the Dow at this moment? You just have a simple divergence here on the RSI, nothing crazy on the MACD and RSI at the same time. Buybacks hit record levels. Yeah, I think we still have the opportunity to head higher. I just want to see us pull back first. That's all I'm saying. I think a pullback first would be very nice. And now the PCC down at 0.69. So people are getting very, very bullish right at a point where I took out all my longs, right? I don't have longs in Nvidia. Now I don't have any longs in Tesla based on the SPY. I think Tesla could still see that pullback, but Nvidia as well. I'm not doing it. It has hit the trend at this point. That is fantastic. It would be very, very nice to pull down into this zone again with the divergence that has popped up. Very flat divergence here though for Nvidia. Yeah, it is popping off. I think you still could go to what, 840 maybe? What is it? What is it at this? This is, oh wow, it's going past. Okay, so this is actually very cool. So this is going to be very, very cool because most likely you're either just seeing this thing go ballistic or you're going to see it make structure. If it makes this structure and curls down on, say, a 2 hour and then curls back up, we see like a left, this huge head and this right shoulder, this thing can really see a big move once it gains those buyers. But fantastic move. Looks like it's still running at this moment. That's awesome. Congratulations if you were in this, but my goodness, you only got really a 2 hour divergence, and I guess daily divergence just confirmed, but the 2 hour divergence is what actually helped you out. Slight. Oh, I'm sorry. This was the 30-minute one. So no 2 hour divergence, just 30-minute across the way here. But did that cross up before the move happened? Yeah, it did. So it crossed up right before. You saw the weakening in momentum right by positive territory. That's the signal you're looking for to take a chance. And my goodness, if you did, that thing is screaming. Hollow, you want to look at Hollow real quick? You think this might be the next big one? Well, that thing is trying to go positive. It's kind of a similar signal, isn't it? It's similar, but it's just not seeing the rip like the other one. Maybe there's some other reversal signals we could pay attention to. Well, the 2 hour already gave you some of those signals. Let's see if the daily can confirm anything. Well, the daily already showing is trying to go up towards positive territory. So really, chance with these guys is going to be that 30-minute crossing up. As of right now, that is the case. If that crosses down, no reason for positivity. That's how you got to look at these type of things. But that's a very, very cheap. These are like penny stocks, so they're very, very difficult. You never know when that big moment could be. You're just lucky that on ALZN you actually had a 30-minute triple divergence, so you did have some sort of signal there that could convince you to take a play. Made some money. Congratulations, KTA. I'm just holding. Hey, that's actually like the perfect way to be. If you believe in any stock that has a short seller problem, holding is literally the smartest thing. Now, we always say this whenever someone talks about AMC or GME, it's always don't use an amount of money that's going to hurt you, right? And that goes for pretty much any trade. Any trade you don't want to treat as 100%. Right? No trade is going to be 100%. You want to be like, okay, there is a higher probability. There's some 30-minute divergence with 2 hour divergence. Maybe that can turn up a daily. Maybe we can see a short squeeze. That's what we caught. That's what we caught with Nvidia. So Nvidia now is hitting a level where that's pretty much the highest I thought it could go, 125, right? That's the highest I thought it could go. It got there. I really took most of my leverage out at 120.24. Like right at this level is where I took most of it out. What happened? We broke through that level. Did I add back in because we broke out through that level? No. No, I didn't. Now we're just hitting this key level. We'll see if that can tap out for us. Ah, God, hiccups. But pretty solid moves. I like to see them. 30-minute for AMC. This is something to pay attention to as well. Just a simple turn up of a 30-minute. Just a simple turn up of a 30-minute. And you can start to see you're getting closer and closer to the crazy area. So AMC, we'll see if this is able to turn up on the 30-minute. That would mean in the shorter term, you have a good shot today of maybe crossing up on that MACD. But we've seen this thing barcode for pretty much weeks now. Good morning, Maria. Welcome to the channel. PCC still pretty damn low. Not seeing that reaction from the dollar, though. Notice we're not seeing a major upward reaction. We're just seeing some flagging out. So if they want to, we can squeeze higher with these type of things. Nvidia, or I'm sorry, TLT, Nvidia, blah, blah, blah. The volatility showing you a small divergence here, able to slightly confirm right there, seeing a pop. If this thing drops again, I'd maybe expect some kind of double bottom. We just really want to say this could be bad. Volatility can keep dropping, meaning the SPY can keep going higher. But if volatility drops off and then turns back up, that's where we'll really be paying attention. Would you mind pulling up the AMC Max monthly chart and see if it's divergence some peeping at the major way soon? So you most likely will see on things like AMC, GME, anything with a short seller problem, you're going to see a ton of divergences, even on the bigger ones, like the bigger time frames, say the monthly. You're not necessarily seeing divergence on the MACD. You are seeing it on the RSI on the monthly scale. Right? This is not dipping down to oversold readings anymore. You are getting a reaction. You're still curled up on this MACD. Telling you what? It told you, hey, the end of this bar right here, this like 516 level, what is the close of this bar? 498. This chart right here is saying 498 is a good investment. That is, it says it is a high probability for an upside move in this investment. That's what that's saying at 498 as of the month of June. Now, as you go forward, you want to wait till that positivity comes in. This is why I was mentioning, you know, holding the stock is the easiest way for any investment that looks like this. Holding the stock is good. You just want to make sure things aren't curling back down, right? You can see weeklies look like this. If this weekly curls back down, is that going to be a good thing or a bad thing? That's going to be a bad thing. What happened the last time we were up towards the center line and we curled down on this MACD? Bad things. Right? So would we expect that to be different? No, we're just following momentum. So if this weekly can curl down, that would be bad. If the monthly can remain curled up, we can maybe curl up on a daily scale. That would be a good thing. But yes, you are technically seeing some divergence on the monthly scale, just on the RSI, not really on the MACD at the same time. IWM, I got to update those ranges for you real quick for IWM. We do give those out as well, so we are hitting that level of last week. Let's see what the new updated ones are. We have 219.16 to the upside. Okay, so 219.16, whereas that's up towards the breakdown area. And to the downside, we do have 206.04. Okay, so you're looking at this. Now, this would make sense, okay? This would make sense if we went to here or if we went to here first. Why would going down make sense? Well, we just broke out from that area. We could retest it, fill a gap, and then turn back up. That would be interesting. Now, if we go higher from here, likely that when you hit this upper weekly expected move, well, that's up towards our little box that we would consider the breakdown area, right? You see this wick, you see the closing bars, you see this downward move, you see where we gapped below. That's all within this area right here. So this area would be important. So it's nice to see weekly expected moves go up towards key levels. It can really help you out, and you can say to yourself, oh, not only am I at a weekly expected move, but I'm also at resistance. Not only am I at a weekly expected move to this downside maybe, but now I'm at support as well, right? With a gap and some price action. So this would be something to pay attention to. It looks like it could really go either way. As of right now, still looking at this from a 2-hour perspective, it's not very overbought, so it could go either way. But if you see that weakness come in, okay, down to this area, down towards that 206.04 would be the likely scenario. Firehouse subs, did you know, Short Fridays, thank you so much for the $10 for a Firehouse sub. Did you know? I've never had a Firehouse sub. Am I missing out? Am I missing out or what? So 2-hour curls down, bad, right? That's all you want to pay attention to mainly for IWM. For pretty much stocks in general, it looks like, hey, 30 minutes are curling, like heading down, showing you the momentum is weak in this area. Like to see the daily curl up. Oh, I'm down, Short Fridays. I'm down. Thank you so much for the $10. Maybe I'll use that to go get a sandwich and try it out for the first time. What is it? CCO? CCL, oh, okay, so this could be a higher low with the double bottom almost. So this is a good way to break through a key level like 147. So this is curling up as of right now. Now, what does that tell you? It tells you some things, right? It tells you what? This, yeah, I can say, oh yeah, this was definitely gonna play out because of the divergence on the 30-minute chart. But I'm not that type of guy. I'm gonna tell you guys the truth. The truth is, this is a downward direction. All of this is very bad, but you started to see tapering and it gave you a signal. Once that signal confirmed, you saw upside. That is a probable thing to happen. So what is the next probable thing to happen when you see a divergence to the upside? Oh, okay, the 2 hour is gonna curl down. Did that 2 hour curl down? Not yet. So if that 2 hour curls down, that would be a bad sign. So what you want is to see more positivity if you have something like this. And what you need to see is this MACD to curl up. That can get rid of some of those divergences. And you notice we are curling up at this moment. Now that is stalled out at this point. We're not seeing a timer over here. So right now that seems to be stalled out for some reason. So you got to pay attention to that. But for the most part, 30-minute curls up, positive things can happen. I would wait to see what happens for the next hour with this stock or so, because you're not seeing the timer over here. SPY starting to see some downside as people get extremely bullish. People are extremely over leveraged to the upside now. But the dollar is not showing you that reaction just yet, so that can continue for a little bit. Starbucks is tanking. Oof, okay, so rejection of the cross up here, that is a big deal. 2 hour popped up, 2 hour curled down. Okay, so 2 hour pullback, the most likely scenario as of right now for Starbucks. Where could that hold up at? I'm really liking this right here. This little chunk. Just because it almost matches up with this level here. So you'd really be looking at this level first, and then if you head lower, most likely something like this, something like this, something like this. So there's a kind of a big box right in here. But that is where you would react to and get some kind of maybe turn above that 2 hour. That would be nice. I like it. I like it. I love it. I want some more of it. See, and that's why I don't do things with trading, switching around my trend lines, is just because if I think this is the most probable place, and then I move that trend line, I could have convinced myself right there, hey, this is going to be a top. It still can. But at this moment, I think just one little reaction like that would be still okay. See some kind of wick up in this area. And right as people get really, really over leveraged to the call side, what happens? We kind of slow down for a moment. Now we have to see what happens. We have to see, is the dollar going to be able to turn back up? It's really turning down at this moment. So we do have people still putting more money into the market, even with this upside move. So we're getting more of that slight confusion, not seeing the perfect, I would say, rigged signal. Oh, we need to put that out on Patreon. We need to put that out on Patreon because we need to show you guys exactly how to read into the dollar, the put call ratio all at the same time. Well, how you read into it is first thing I want to do is I want to go, okay, where are people leveraged? They're extremely leveraged to the call side. $15 for a sandwich? What the? I heard Subway's bringing back like at least $6.99 footlongs or something like that. I was like, don't mind that. Now we see this really low. So what does that mean? What does that mean right away, short Fridays? Low put to call. Anything below, I would say 0.8, you can start to pay attention to and say, ooh, people are getting over leveraged to the call side. Up in these areas, where are they? Up in these areas, where are they? They're over leveraged to the put side. Okay, so since it is low, we know they're over leveraged to the call side. So what do we want to do? Well, we want to see if some rigged things are going to happen. AKA, I want to see, is the dollar turning up while this is happening? Okay, the dollar is not. It is turning down. So it is turning down while the market is positive. That is the correct correlation. So we're not necessarily seeing rigged moves. What you'd want to see is the market going up, the dollar going up, and you can write that down. You want to see the market going up, the dollar going up while the PCC is low. That is what you overall would want to see. We're not seeing that at this moment. We have not seen this dollar turn back up. We're seeing, if anything, it start to violate possibly some divergences if it continues to turn down, which would mean there is still buying. But what I want to pay attention to for the dollar is there's reversal signals in here. So I want to pay attention closely because right now the dollar and the market are correlated. They're not negatively correlated, right? They're correlated, right? So when the dollar goes up right now, stocks go down. And so what we want to see, and Ricky, thank you so much for subscribing, what we want to see is if that dollar can turn up on this 4 hour, most likely the market will pull down. It looks like the dollar is reacting just like the market is. Now, it does have a 4 hour, I would say, multiple point divergence. So that means the daily scale can maybe curl up for a bounce, which means we could see some selling come in as those are correlated. At this moment, they're correlated. So if the dollar turns up, we would expect the market to pull down. Right, so if you start to see a daily cross, that can be a sign that more volatility, more selling is going to come into the market as people are over leveraged to the upside. $15 is average. Well, yeah, so if I go to Freddy's, I really like Freddy's. It's a little burger place. It's nice. They have steak burgers and stuff. I can go to Freddy's right now for, I think, my meal with a drink, big thing of fries, and a double stacked burger, which is normally what I get. I think it's like $11 plus tax here. But if I go to, say, McDonald's right now, this is the surprising part. But if I go to McDonald's right now, I'm going to pay, maybe for the same type of meal, I'm going to pay like the same amount. So I'm going to go to a slightly nicer, quote unquote, fast food joint, Freddy's, and I'm going to go there just because I'm going to pay the same, if not a little bit more, at McDonald's. Right? So it's kind of, McDonald's is in a tough spot, I think. I think they're really getting hit by the inflation thing now. For the first time in like its history, I think they saw a downturn in customers in the last quarter. QQQ is starting to roll down a little bit. Nothing to be too worried about just yet, but if that 2 hour curls down, we would say most likely scenario is what? A 2 hour pullback. 2 hour pullback looks pretty likely this week. These have been shifting back up. Remember that too. We talk about this at key points up here. They started to do what? The weekly ranges started to shift down every single week. Now what are they doing? Well, they used to be down like this. Now they're shifting up. So the most likely scenario is you're in a bullish trend. Good morning. Thoughts on AMD? AMD, seeing some good price action to the upside, actually getting to where I want it to, the top of this zone, because this is where we can start to form some structure. Now a 2-hour pullback would go a long way, right? We break out of a zone, we test back into it, we curl back up, left head, right shoulder maybe over here. So this is a great move. You're crossed up on the daily scale and everything. It's just, you know, you're going to experience pullbacks most likely if this is going to remain healthy. No, it's solid. I really like it. It's one of my favorite places because of that. It's like, it's not going to be an overzealous amount, right? It's not like a freaking, like if you get a triple stack burger from Five Guys or something, but it's a nice amount. It's like, I would say the pretty spot on amount of meat there. They've kept it the same all the time. And I actually, Freddy's, I don't know if anyone's ever been to Freddy's, but I've actually, like, my family knows him. We know Freddy. Well, I don't think he's with us anymore, but my grandma was friends with him. He was my grandma's neighbor for a while. Apparently, I went swimming once when I was a very little kid, and he was there because they used to go to the same pool. Pretty cool, pretty cool. Dollar's still turning down. Freddy's has good shakes. Yeah, they have some decent custards and stuff. I don't really like ice cream that much, me myself. I like milkshakes though, I really do. GME popping a little bit by 2% now, so rejecting the crossover on the 2-hour. That's a great thing. That's a great thing. And I think the main signal we're looking for here is, can AMC curl up on this 30-minute? Can it then curl up on the daily? If AMC curls up on this daily, you see a strong bar, you can see something crazy. So watch out. These cheese curds. Those are some good cheese curds. My favorite is Lee's Sandwich. We have a Vietnamese place that is called Pho Lee's. Ooh, I'm not a peanut butter guy myself. I mean, I like some peanut butter, but I don't like an overly amount of peanut butter. If I brought my wife home a peanut butter, anything with peanut butter in it, pretty much if I brought her a peanut butter milkshake, she would probably be like, I'm gonna throw this in the trash. Your voice brings inner peace to my soul when I'm trading. Well, hopefully that's just because me and you are kind of clicking on the same things, right? That's kind of the goal here, is to get a community that is really dedicated to learning, and me myself saying all the time, I'm still learning. Like even in this moment, it's hard to see the signals because we're not necessarily seeing rigged behavior as people are getting bullish, right? It's 0.7 right now for the PCC. Dollar not necessarily rising, but the SPY is rising. So you have a time where you're kind of correlated, where that 0.7 could be correct actually at this moment. But since they're correlated, you want to see if they're turning around. But I appreciate that. I think that's awesome. Someone who can make you feel just a little more confident. I like to run my ideas by you guys too, and then you guys can keep me in check. That's kind of the trade-off here. It's very nice. Very nice to talk stocks with everyone today. I'm enjoying myself. As we can see, we see the Dow starting to head just a little bit higher. We'll see what happens with that. I think a pullback from this area up here right now for the day, you would say like 40.9K. Tomorrow you'd say like 40.9K. So 40.9 looks like the area to pay attention. We only got 100 points left till we hit that area. Oh my goodness. GME now up 2.28%. Did this curl down on a weekly? It did curl down on a weekly. AMC hasn't, but GME did. We'll see if that can confirm back up, but GME is taking off. Well, just we got to expect it. Remember what to expect in the stock. The one thing we can always expect is the short sellers are going to fight the stock. The market makers will fight the stock. All right, that's the one thing we have to expect at all times. Now, what is something that can cause some unexpected buying? Earnings. Or if something was leaked early about earnings or something like that, that would be unexpected. Yeah, you never want to necessarily assume. You can assume and immediately be like, okay, but if this was to turn around, then I would assume the other thing, right? If you're assuming anything, it would be something like this, right? We go look at Nvidia. Okay, we see this cross. What does that mean? Well, we assume that it should see positivity, but it could have experienced a pullback right here. So I'm assuming that there's going to be positivity because the probabilities are leaning in that direction. And then I know, but if that turns back down, then I know, okay, now I should assume the opposite. You can kind of be like, you can use that word. It's just a word, assume, right? But for the most part, you would say, I'm assuming this. If this were happening, then I should not assume that anymore. That's how we would put it. Oh yeah, let them fight the stock though, Maria. I know you're saying JK, but like for real, let them fight the stock. It's perfectly fine because if you're just holding it, you're like, hey, they're piling more money into it. They're having to use more money to suppress it, which means the bull trap. Okay, let's go look. Are not full day colors. Yeah, they're not gonna always go in that direction forever, right? That's why you want to more look at, that's why I look at multiple time frames, yeah. I'm never going to be like, this has to be a green day all day tomorrow, so therefore I have to take the day trade this morning and blah, blah, blah. I'm not going to do that. I'm more just going to be like, is this going to be a good setup? Yes, it is. I can assume that that will happen based on the probabilities. If it doesn't, I know how to react. That's how I would say it. But American Airlines, I don't know if this would necessarily be a bull trap. I'm really liking this daily signal. Has that curled up, say, a weekly chart? Well, let's look at that for a moment. That has not curled up just yet. So once that weekly curls up, hey, you feel pretty good about it, all right? Because you have a almost flat divergence, I would say, pretty flat here for the MACD, a little bit down, so not the best, but you do have a divergence here on the RSI. So it looks like some kind of big reaction could come from American Airlines soon. And the daily signal tells you that right here. You just need this to go positive. Are you seeing this as a trap right now? Well, if this is a trap and we're going to see this daily rotate all the way back down, we're going to see a 2-hour divergence in here most of the time. Do we see that 2-hour divergence at this moment? No. If anything, it's just saying, hey, I'm hitting a breakdown area, so this can be some resistance here, and maybe I need to consolidate and then bounce up over time. But 2-hour curls down, bad things happen. That's all we need to take into consideration. We look at Alibaba. My sister-in-law's dog's name. Not the strongest thing in the world from the 2-hour look right now, but no real big things going on from divergence level. Let's look at the daily. See, daily here looks like, hey, just daily swing trade to the upside, right? We see this curl up on this bar right here. We get above everything. Maybe you had to manage the trade here, but eventually, hey, that played out to the upside. So good look here. I'm not seeing reversal signals at this moment. Did it just have earnings? When did it have earnings? Yeah, it just had earnings. So what I'd more be looking for as that direction has been chosen for upside, look for your 30-minute pullbacks, right? Look for your 30-minute pullbacks because a 30-minute pullback can go a long way. It's already picked a big direction. So if you're able to curl down, curl back up, or move sideways and curl back up, move down and move back up, that's what you're looking for here. Yeah, that's pretty much it there. There's not a lot of like reversal things here. Just more looking like good upside after earnings. Seems people were a little confused by earnings. Apple down 1%. Here you go. Now we're starting to see these things start to pull back just a little bit. Dollar not increasing rapidly. Volatility not increasing at all, really. SPY just now turning negative. So now you're seeing Apple say, hey, I might need to curl down. Might need to pull back. Then you're seeing things like Tesla actually rip the other direction. Nvidia saying, hey, I might need to pull back here. We'll see if these things start to curl over. Mullen? I don't know. Is Mullen a stock? I look at so many damn charts that it's hard for me to know like every stock out there. Why is Starbucks tanking so hard then? Starbucks is still... Oh, it's not tanking too. I mean, like, yeah, you're going to say that's bad for now, 1.75%. But you're just mainly in 2-hour pullback mode, which is what you want to see as a trader, right? If you're being patient, waiting for the next upside move, this is something you'd see. Are there reversal signals here to say, hey, this is going to crash through the floor? No, there's not. But you have a gap there. You have a gap. We went through this very quickly if we wanted to. If we had enough liquidity here, could go right through that. Check gold. Oh, that's right. You like gold futures. Gold here, not a good look. Right, we kind of drew this up. We connected these before this price action here. Hey, we see the upside move with the curl up. Fantastic, awesome, more upside. Now you have a bunch of divergence here. So this is leading me to believe what? The daily might experience some trouble. So the daily might experience some trouble here. If this 2-hour divergence can confirm, we start to break through some structure. It has confirmed, so you can head down over time with this. That's how you want to look at it. Now, since this is a futures, the 4-hour is something we can take into consideration. We see it there as well. So we see the divergence between all of these points. Okay, awesome. Now we can just say, if that 4-hour curls over, most likely we're curling over on the daily chart. Okay, this might have a 2-hour thing going on here. There's your 2-hour. All right, 2-hour simple little divergence down here can go a long way. Curls up on the MACD and boom, we see more positivity. Now that's starting to hesitate as we get positive here. So what I want to look for is the 30-minute overextended? Yeah, 30-minute was overextended for a minute. So what you're looking for as it's positive and that 2-hour hasn't rotated down, the first thing I look for is the 30-minute able to really rotate back up, right? Testing in a breakdown area. Okay, are we able to break to the upside one more time, right? You're in pullback mode on the 30-minute. If that curls up, great sign. If that continues to go negative, not a great sign because you can curl over a 2-hour chart and you're up by the center line, you're still negative, so you can continue that negative trend for a minute. And maybe it's not, hey, you're wrong. Your timing is just a little off and it's going to happen a little bit in the future. So that's what you can pay attention to. But if the 30-minute can curl back up, more positivity can be there. Fubo TV. Is that a soccer channel? Nothing really there for the 2-hour chart. All right, this is a daily momentum move, and this is kind of what I'm talking about with, say, AMC or something like that. Now, I don't know if this has a short seller problem. I don't want to compare it, but I just want to show you how you get the breakout move. You're able to curl up that daily MACD, and what happens the next day? Boom, some big upside, right? Up 34% at this moment. So this is what you're really looking for in a lot of these stocks, is just how important daily momentum can be. Daily momentum can really be a big deal. Just won a court battle? Oh, they did. Okay. So there you go. It's just technicals telling you about it on Friday. Monday, we see some good upside, but the MACD did tell you down here about that. And it was up on the RSI, up on the price action, and boom, that continued. There's nothing really on Clove, just to be honest. Clove just looks like a rapid upward move. And now you're waiting for those little pullbacks, right? You want to see little pullbacks. Okay, we confirmed upside. Now we have divergence, so you can experience a 2-hour pullback. A 2-hour pullback would be fantastic for this, right? It's been a great, great move. Now you want to see, because look at this. We went sideways. We curled up over here, and boom, positivity. So what we want to see is, can that do that again? Maybe it just moves sideways, a little bit of chop in that sideways move, and then it curls up again, and boom, you go, okay, that means more upside is the most probable thing. SPY pullback, yeah, we're looking for a 2-hour pullback for the most part. Not necessarily seeing the dollar increase just yet, though. So nobody really going into cash, at least at this moment. Tesla, nice move. And Apple's kind of saying like, hey, yeah, I kind of want to pull back now. All right, and just so you guys know, I know it is my birthday week, but I'm trying to give you guys as much content as possible. So we will be doing a closing stream today to see what things are doing at the end of the day. We're going to try to put out a bunch of content this week. I think it'll be a key week going into the end of August. I don't know if it was an EO, but I know Neo, this looked like a great rejection here. Something when you think you could see a rejection is just go pop over to the hourly, see if that curled down and curled back up into positive territory, and boom, look at that, it did, right? That's something you can do, is just look for these moments, and weirdly enough, you have a 30-minute divergence down here. So right here, you have the 30-minute divergence, that curled up, okay, we've experienced some negativity, maybe you wait for another curl up, boom, right there, you have the curl up, never curled back down on the 30-minute. No, you're good, John. I think I read into you. So what you want to see here is that 2 hour had the rejection divergence. So now we want to see, are we able to turn up a daily chart? You're doing that as of right now. And the thing about Neo is it has a bunch of divergence down here. Okay, so Neo is actually getting pretty tight and could experience a big move, right? If we just draw some stuff up real quick, we just go like this. All right, cool. We go like this. Maybe we take like a low point down here. We go like this. That's getting pretty tight. That's all we want to say. We don't want to really be like, oh, this is a wedge. It has to play out in X amount of ways. No, because most likely the key thing here is most likely it was in a channel, right? We can see this and go, okay, that was in a pretty good channel there. So I don't want to take this as like, oh, it has to be a reversal signal. What I more just want to think about is price action is getting tight. It's curling up on the daily MACD. It has divergence all across the way here with this point especially. So you do have that double bottom down here and you can start to curl up over time for Neo. If this can confirm, the most probable thing is you're going to see some kind of breakout, most likely to 494. That's how I see it. John's getting better. Good. Nice. Good job, John. Congratulations. It's always a good feeling when you kind of like take a course or something like that and you're just like, oh, I'm actually seeing things correctly and maybe I can catch some of these moves. Because the truth is, if you took the course, then you should know about the things that Nvidia was showing you, right? You should be paying attention to this. And you can always come back into the live channel after you take the course, looking at a certain thing, make sure you're seeing it correctly, seeing what my opinion is to see if your thinking's right, or at least correlated with mine. Because from this area, this was my great trade. This was my fantastic trade last week. Boom, we see the downside. We get that to curl up. We see the divergence down here on the MACD, on the RSI at the same time, triple divergence down here, and boom, we cross up. Positivity is there. We never curled back down. We went all the way to 125. I took all mine out pretty much here at like 120.50. Pretty much 120. Just because that's really where I was like, I don't want to get hurt by some kind of random rip down. We end up going a little bit higher to 125. That's great. That's as high up as I saw this move going before it could see a pullback. Crazy things happen. You can break through, but for the most part, I would say this area here looks like a great pullback. Could be fantastic for the stock. That's awesome, John. And remember, guys, those courses down there, if you want to learn this stuff, they are in the description, 90% off. $100 to take the technical indicators, technical analysis course that'll teach you how to use divergence and all those things in any kind of market. This is where you can use that, and you notice that if you knew that, what can you see? The most positivity. This is really where you take these type of trades where everyone's super fearful and you can make great money. And that's exactly what happened with this trade. Thank you, Diana. I just hope that some people were able to benefit, learn from it, because you know it's nice to see in a very bullish move over time, right? Very bullish move over time. You still see these great setups. I've taken a couple courses. Hey, that's all right, John. That's all right. That's all right. And I get people take all kinds of courses and things like that. I try to put what I do physically in all of my trading. That's what I put into the technical indicators course. Just because I don't want to tell you I'm using something and confuse you and then I'm not using it. No, I want to tell you exactly how I do things and then see if it fits for you. And I think that having a cheaper price is very good. It means anyone can really get into it, can get into trading, can start to learn and maybe grow their money over time. I think that's fantastic. Cool, cool, cool. Thank you guys for joining this morning. It is awesome to have you here. Wouldn't have it any other way. It looks pretty good. Let's see what's trending out there. People still talking about MOAS and GME and AMC. Those things are curling up. We'll see if they can confirm up on AMC today. That would be very, very cool to see just a daily turn up. The Bitcoins. Well, first, let's look at Mara, because Mara's related a little bit to Bitcoin. Now, Mara had some great reversal signals down here. I just want to say, Mara had some good reversal signals, right? 2-hour divergence. That can lead to a daily doing what? Daily crossing up. And look what it's trying to do right now. So not only are you seeing a similar signal to what Nvidia gave you shortly before, right? Nvidia gave you this big dip down, but what happened? We created a divergence between all of these points here. Okay, these points are creating it. Now you want to see, is that daily able to curl up? The daily curling up will be a great confirmation because this move is very, very sideways. AKA, what would I do? If that hourly is turning down, I'm not saying there's any positivity. You can come down, you can test these points down here, make another point of divergence. But as of right now, it's trying to go positive. So what I'd really be looking for here is the daily momentum able to take over. Are we able to see a strong green bar that then leads into more buying? Right, that's what I'm looking for. And the reason that we can pay attention to that while looking at Bitcoin is because Bitcoin needs the same signal. It needs a daily curl up. It really does. And what can hint at a daily curling up? Well, if this 4-hour could curl back up, right? It's good to look at the shorter time frames to give you a hint of what could come from the daily. You just don't want to go into a 30-minute on Bitcoin and be like, okay, this 30-minute curled up, so therefore a daily has to turn up. That's not really how it works. Bitcoin trades a lot more often, so you want to use higher time frames. You can more so do that. Maybe say a 2-hour turning up could curl up that daily because it's so close. So I'd be looking for this 2-hour to curl up. If that can happen, we can see some positivity. I'm going to take a short 2-minute break real quick. All right, just to go use the restroom real quick. Coffee's hitting me. So I'm going to take a short break here for like 2 minutes, and I will be right back. All right, stick around for a moment. Please give a like to the channel. Talk amongst yourselves. Maybe talk about which way you think the market will end by the end of the week. Do you think we end up higher than this point or lower than this point by close on Friday? What do you think? And we'll look at the daily expected move for Tesla in a moment. Onda, okay? Give me 2 minutes. Alrighty. Let's go take a look at Tesla real quick. Tesla, looking at those daily, or those, sorry, the expected move for Tesla, that's impossible to make. You have a little bit more upside room for Tesla to go higher. So the fun part about Tesla right now is that it is lagging behind, but you do have more upside to be had here. You do have about 10 more points. Dollar is screaming down. Yeah, that's saying people are buying into something. People are buying into something. It is correlated with the market right now. The market's heading higher, the dollar is heading down. So nothing about this says like bad behavior. People are just pretty overextended, I would say, to the call side. Black Friday part 2, you think so, just Joe? That's what I'm kind of worried about, okay? This is why I really was talking pullback. You want to see healthy, even little pullbacks, even just a little 30-minute cross down and cross back up. This is not a 30-minute cross down and cross back up. This is still a squeeze behavior because you're seeing that MACD just point down while stocks continue to head higher. That's not what you want to see. That's where people can really be convinced things are going up, and then you see a sharp reaction and things can start to escalate quickly. So that's why we want to pay attention to the dollar if that's able to turn up. It's not, though. That's the thing. It is not able to turn up. So we would say if this does turn up, we have to be aware of it. But right now we have to take it for what it is. This is a bullish move still. There's no real indications of a pullback just yet. This is why we're probably going to go another 20 minutes and then come back live and see if things have developed live at the end of the day. But volatility now switching to the negative side. So something to pay attention to with volatility here is, remember the 30-minute, we were talking about that crossing down this morning. It crossed down this morning. So what's the most likely thing to happen? Well, SPY maybe sees some positivity as volatility drops. Now we need to pay attention to this moment, because if we're going to make another point of divergence right here, right by the center line, that would be a big deal. It looks like bottoming behavior from the dollar. It does. I will agree with you on that, just Joe. So everyone that's listening in, this is looking like bottoming behavior, but has it confirmed the bottoming behavior yet? No, it hasn't. Okay, so technically, if it needs to, this is the best way to say it. This is a look for a bottom, but it's not confirming the bottom, right, for the dollar. Meaning to us, well, we got to take it for what it is right now. It's a bullish sign. If that turns right back around, we could see that turn back around overnight. Usually the crazy stuff happens overnight. So we'll just pay attention diligently, make sure to manage our positions, and we'll be just fine. That's how I got to take it at this point. Video still positive. AMD solid 2.9 now, so really getting up there. AMC, we just want to look at that 30-minute chart. Was not able to confirm up for the 30-minute chart here. GME was, but creating another point of divergence. Bing. Tesla, that's a great move, getting through that area, able to curl up on a daily MACD. It's just kind of like worrisome because you could experience a pullback at any time, but Tesla is showing you some positivity there. I believe Netflix showed that signal pretty early. That was a great one. AMC still not able to turn up yet. You need more positivity than that. SMCI really turning down though. Interesting. Really wanting to turn down here. Interesting. Okay. 3.72%. Ooh, 30-minute divergence on gold. I'm not liking this look from gold. It looks really, really tight, like something big's about to happen. You have a flat divergence on the MACD, downward divergence on the RSI. Not really liking that too much. Something awesome we did over the weekend was we took Ari for a walk. We took our daughter for a walk, and we were like, oh, well, we're working out, so we can eat crappy food. So we literally went and bought at Brahms a bag of burgers and 2 large fries, and we walked, but also gained our calories at the same time and ate burgers and fries and went on a walk. It was pretty funny. It was a good idea. Until it wasn't, because we didn't think of how humid and hot it was, and so the burgers did not like feel good after like 20 minutes of walking. FFIE, there's just no technical signals there. I'm sorry, Fardis. You're just seeing if a daily can turn up pretty much on something like that. There's no technical signal there to say like, oh, we have to reverse to the upside or anything like that. We looked at it this morning. If you want to zoom back out to the first maybe 20 minutes or so of the stream, somewhere in there we did talk about FFIE, and we were just like, there's no reversals here. It's just saying, hey, if the daily can turn up and get above some moving averages, you might have a shot, but that's it. Did the Dow hit that upward level yet? It's trying to. Dollar's still dropping off. Volatility. Yeah, it's going to be a dry ass market for a while. Maybe by end of the day. I think Neo looks pretty good, actually. I'm pretty sure SoFi looked good. I can't remember, but we talked about SoFi as well. Yeah, sorry, Fardis, but there's just no technicals. Like, I can go type it in and look at all the charts, but the main thing you need to know here is this is really bad. You're going to see a bunch of 30-minute stuff going on. Maybe a 30-minute divergence near the center line is what you're waiting for, but you notice those just rarely ever play out. This one started to, right? This one did, right? Once it gets closer to that center line, these divergences here play out, so you still can pay attention when it's closer to the center line, but you're far away right now. So really, I'd just be like, okay, if the daily can cross up, it might be a good sign. But that's it. That's all I got. Slow day, which is just a leaking higher kind of day, which means short squeeze kind of day. So they're trying to convince more people to short so they can use that as fuel to head higher. They can artificially hold stocks up and then just let people keep buying puts and then just continue to use those to head higher. My mom, or sorry, my sister sent me a picture of her dog. Oh man, I gotta tell you guys, my wife gave me 7 gifts before my birthday, right? She's giving me 7 gifts leading up to my birthday. And it's awesome. I got a gun sling, an ammo case. She's getting me all gun stuff. She's like, I really thought about what you would want. And I was like, did you just type gun stuff on the internet and start buying? But the best thing she got me, practice rounds. Now I've got 250 more? Yeah, 250 more practice rounds. So I'm about to go unload this week. Maybe I'll take a little video for you guys. I still expect the Dow to make some kind of move there. IWM might curl up. Maybe the upside's the more likely scenario for IWM. GME, that's a pretty solid move there so far. 1475, the way this will work is they will rally the VIX and then come down and confirm 1475 safely with a lower low. Yeah, what we want to pay attention to, by the way, let's talk into the future a little bit. Let's do that this morning for towards the end of the stream here. For the morning, right, we're going to be back here for the closing stream, but this is good to be aware of, so don't take off just yet. All right, if we're going to see this reverse down, at some point. Maybe we get some kind of double top or something like that. The signal that we're looking for is if this actually can pull down, rotate back up, and then we go into Friday when Jerome Powell talks, that is where we can see some double top behavior. So if we see a 2-hour divergence like this going into Friday and he says something bad, ooh, that can pull us through the floor. So we want to pay attention to 2-hour divergences just because of how the daily is still close to that center line. So we want to look for signals that can roll over this daily chart. At this moment, we don't see any of those signals. Jackie's on. Let's go. Go see Jackie. He's fun. Jackie's fun. Sometimes I play Jackie for my daughter when he's playing his tunes. And he's twirling around that little running man. I don't watch him a lot. Not at all, really. But if my daughter's with me, she likes that one, so I'll let the music play. $24.30 for GME. I mean, you can definitely see that. That's definitely possible. This is the strong move you need. You need AMC to participate, I think. I think if AMC participated, I think it would be very good for GME. Yeah, they're probably doing the spoofing moves. There's been a lot of spoofing with AMC every single day. You'll see like one good volume bar or like one good bar and then volume kicks it down. So you just need this to cross up. But look how tight that is. It tells you if there's a time where this could happen, I'd say, man, I'd be really paying attention to the next few weeks. That's what I'll be doing. Might have to put my option play back on. I'm just waiting to see if that can cross up on the MACD, then I'll take an option for it, but just waiting because this is huge, but it can easily be a bad thing too. If you start to keep closing below all these moving averages, it could be bad. So you want to make sure things are confirming up, and then you got a good shot. Mara actually flipping to positive as of right now. Let's go see what that means for Bitcoin flipping to positive right now. Remember, we got to curl up on a 4-hour chart for this to really be confirmed. I would say even a 2-hour chart just because that daily MACD looks like it really wants to cross up. We're still seeing the dollar drop off dramatically. Yeah, I'm still holding on to my idea that we're going to experience a pullback at some point. Even if we don't, I made plenty of money in the move. So I'm not going to sit and be like, oh yeah, I have to make money every single day. I have to take a trade every day. Nope. I'll just sit on my behind, hold on to some hedging maybe. I'm just holding on to my hedge play because why not? The only thing I didn't sell was my hedge. Apple might curl over on this too. We got 40 minutes left in this Apple bar. Apple's going to be a big stock. Now, I really like the structure. I really, really do. So, whoa, we got a breakout to the upside. Wow. Great breakout. Great breakout. Looks like this is where you're finally breaking out of that range. Some kind of cup and handling happening. Great consolidation in here. Then you see that break to the upside. So right now, Exxon saying, hey, I'm breaking to the upside. Dollar is pretty finished there, man. Pfizer, exactly what we said. Oh, and then I got to look at costs. Ooh, there you go. All right, Pfizer, great trade setup. This is a fantastic trade setup. There will be pullbacks and things like that, but this is a 2-hour heading down. Wait, why would Pfizer be popping? Oh God, is it monkeypox news? Is monkeypox news coming out? I'll have to look around before the closing stream later today, but Pfizer seeing this is a great signal for the daily to turn up. Just so you're aware, 2-hour divergence, great signal. See if that daily can start to turn up. Look at that, it's right by the center line. So this is starting to say upside is the most potential move here. And as you didn't really have divergence between these levels, well, you can actually probably go test the high and go make a new one. What I think will happen with gold, I think gold's going to experience some kind of pullback, if not a reversal in trend soon. Which it leads into this as well. So I'm glad that Mark is someone who asks about gold all the time because it makes me pay closer attention to it. If you look in this area, you have a daily divergence on gold. If we look in the futures, we'll see the divergence is better. But as you go into, say, I think it was 30-minute chart for GLD, you're going to see this divergence that's starting to confirm here. So that tells me there could be an initial pullback. Now, what happens to the dollar? Yeah, you know when Pfizer pops, it's not going to be good news for your health, most likely. Well, the 30-minute divergence here tells me I could experience a pullback here for gold on, say, a 2-hour chart. So what do I want to look at, or what do I want to think about is better to say here? Well, if gold's going to go down, then the dollar might actually go up. And since the dollar and the SPY are pretty correlated right now, right? We're seeing that dollar really drop off while the SPY still continues to head higher. That's something to pay attention to, because if gold is giving us these weakness signals to the upside, and we're seeing on the other side of this spectrum, we're starting to see the dollar form some 4-hour divergences that are not looking good at this moment, by the way. They're not looking good. It continues to drop. I want to make sure to say that. But this can get, if it gets that reaction, that would make sense because gold's showing weakness in momentum to the upside while the dollar is showing a little bit. It was showing weakness. It is kind of showing weakness, but it's just not getting that bounce just yet. So it's like, I don't want to read into it too far, but if the dollar were to turn around here, gold I expect would drop, and that's kind of a hint I think we're seeing. It doesn't mean, oh, load up on everything, we're going to crash. That's not what's coming across here. It just goes, hey, we could see some kind of reaction maybe for a pullback. And we're going to see that reaction from gold pullback, dollar starts to move up. Trading machines timed the bottom in the dollar. Oh, I gotta see one more comment to see that, just Joe. I'm missing one word and it's making me not able to understand fully. Time the bottom in Dixie was the top in gold? Most of the time, a lot of the time you'll see when people fly into gold, they're going out of cash, so cash goes down. But if they're flying back into cash, gold goes down. Usually in a crash scenario, pretty much everything crashes, but I don't know if this is necessarily the crash scenario. I don't think we get news unless it's some random news that comes out that can really crash the market at this point. I think you're more likely to see this bait and switch continue. Right? I think you're more likely to see some kind of news come out that causes this to happen, and then you end up going like that. And then this is the main point to pay attention. I'm wearing my Gucci flip-flops from last week's gains and switching the script. Oh yeah, we got to look at cost, by the way. Whoa, cost. That's a good move. Are you curling up on the day? Ooh, this is some good signals here for cost. These are some good signals for cost. These are 2 swing trade signals, just not the lagging one. So this is saying we could see some upside. The only thing is we have earnings on my birthday, so earnings can go either way. It could be a time value thing. It could be a time value thing. It could be the, sometimes I like to think about supply and demand with options. So if there's no demand for that option, right? If you look at simple economics of supply and demand, well, if the supply of that option is increasing, but the demand is going down, then that would mean the price of that option is actually going down. So that could mean while the stock is going higher, you're actually seeing more people involved in the put side if you look at it that way. But more so, I would say it's time. Usually it's time that really affects an option. But that could mean people are selling out of those options right now. It could mean people are selling out of those options, so maybe that means they're going in the other direction. Now, it doesn't mean they're right. They could be selling out of those options, going to the put side, and that could be used as fuel for your option later on. But at this moment, you would just say, hey, if this 2 hour ends up curling down, look how close it is to crossing too. If the 2 hour curls down, that's more so when you'd be like, okay, pullback is coming. And then let's say it just does this. Let's say it just curls down for just like 4 hours and then curls back up. Okay, the trade's back on. You're back on to the upside. Is that a trap? You got to look at the shorter time frames. Yeah, but not to the point where the top in gold matches almost perfectly with the bottom in the dollar. Well, a lot of the time too, by the way, you'll see the bottom in the dollar first. You don't have to see the reaction in the market or in gold even with the dollar, right? That's why we get the difference. That's why we say that the market is overall rigged, because the dollar can go up while the stock market goes up. The dollar can go up while gold goes up, but you want to read into it for what that's actually saying, right? Even though they might be artificially holding the market up, or retail is buying in and you're seeing a major move to cash from bigger players, that's when you want to read into, hey, there is something funky going on here. Let's pay attention to things that start to rip away from people pretty quickly. Right, so a lot of the time in the market, you will see the dollar bottom or top before the market bottoms or tops. And that can go the same for gold. Pretty much anything that's tradable with, I would say with options, can react differently than gold. One thing for volatility I'm looking at is the 30-minute divergence that's created, because we did get a little pop in volatility and it's getting us so close to that center line that if we see a pop up from this piece of volatility here, we can see that pop up, we might get some bigger time frames to turn up. Snow triple divergence on the daily scale. Ooh, you looking for the downside triple divergence maybe? Yeah, downside triple divergence. Great little play there. Great find. Great find there. It's on the MACD. It's almost on the RSI at the same time. This point right here comes down a little bit, but you do have a divergence in the near price action at the same time. You have triple divergence on the MACD, not on the RSI. So divergence here, that can lead to a big pop. Where would we get to most likely? Well, you're most likely, reacting up to this zone. I would like this point of 143.50-ish. Well, because even in the safe haven, so in safe haven times, so if you go look at crashes and look where TLT, say, popped while the dollar dropped off, right? You would say that was maybe people running to safety. But eventually, TLT will continue to pop and the dollar will start to increase, because I think more people have money, at least cash, in the stock market or itself, in other assets, not just TLT. Not everyone runs to safety. But normally what you'll see if you go back and look at some crash times, like even like I think 2020 it was, you may have seen some reaction there where the dollar goes down with things. Well, the dollar goes down, but eventually when people really start to hit that sell button, it starts to go back up. It can't keep up. So that's a time where you'll see most likely a flight to safe, which I holding right now. But for the most part, I would say TLT can pop as the dollar drops down. But eventually when people start to sell those stocks, there's more people that own stocks than own bonds. At least from this perspective, talking about retail and institutions. Now you could say, the government owns those bonds, all that type of thing, but for the most part, the dollar will cash up. And that's why a lot of people, run to safety and the market doesn't drop right away when TLT is popping. But we could just have a difference in opinion, and that's fine. It is, Pablo, it is, but it hasn't turned around yet, so I don't want to read too far into it. I want to more read into it when I see it turning around. Oh, Snow has earnings? Damn. Oh no, good catch. Snow does have earnings. That's going to be a 50-50 flip. It just tells me to downsize the position if I took this play, but... Or it could be, hey, I took calls here, get out of jail free card. That's a great move. Yeah, this is going to take some time to develop. Most likely we'll see this develop in the next 24 hours. We'll pay attention to it. But it is time for me to hop off for the morning stream. We will be back for the afternoon stream, right? Going towards the close. So please make sure you're subscribed. Make sure you have those notifications on so we can talk about some more stocks after we get some more price action here. Just Joe, you're saying some great stuff. I actually really like your take on things. I think you got a good head on your shoulders. It makes me think about things a little differently too, which I really enjoy. So I'm going to look into stocks throughout my... No, it's on. I'm going to look at stocks throughout my day, make sure to pay attention to things, see if things are adding up. As of right now, we're just seeing it looks like more of a squeeze as people go to the call side. So we got to be aware of the dollar turning back around. Maybe we can see some of that by the market close. So we'll be back for the last hour, trying to give you guys a bunch of content this week. I think we could have... I think we could have more interesting things to look at throughout this week. So I'm going to try to put out as much content as possible with YouTube videos, a lot of live streams. I think we need to stay in tune with things. So thank you guys so much for being here. If you guys want to learn throughout the week, the courses are down there in the description. Really appreciate you guys being here though, liking, subscribing. You guys are fantastic. Couldn't wish for a better community, and I'm glad that we're growing every day because you guys are hitting that like button. I think it's awesome to see new people in here. I love seeing the new people come in and give their take on things. It really gives us even more to learn going forward, which is very, very fun. So I hope you guys have a great day, and I will see you later on. Peace.